Lakini nataka niwaambie hivi, the way you collaborated and failed in AUC, the way you will fail in 2027. No matter what the reasons, even if you have the best candidate, I assure you that you're going to lose. Kwa majina yangu ni Francis Macharia na mimi ni mkaaji wa Nakuru, and today I want to just talk about the elections, the AUC elections that happened just recently, ambayo sisi tulipoteza kama Kenya, ambapo tulikuwa na candidate wetu ambaye alikuwa ni Raila Odinga. Baba, sisi hatukuwa na shida sana na Raila Odinga, but there are few factors and I could see people trying to explain, and watu ambao wamekuwa wakijaribu kuelezea ni kwa nini tulipoteza kiti ya AUC, na pia vile vile ni mambo gani ambayo yalituma tukaweza kupoteza kama nchi ya Kenya, na labda watu wamejaribu sana kuelezea vitu ambavyo vinaweza kuwa vimefanya tukasukumwa mpaka tukaruse our candidate ambaye ilikuwa ni Raila Odinga. Number one, I want to just make it clear that kuna vitu ambavyo labda sisi wenyewe tunaweza fikiria kwa mawazo yetu ambayo yalifikisha mahali pale, but I want to say a few things that led us to lose this particular seat and this particular position, ambayo ilikuwa kwamba kulikuwa na Afrika mzima ambayo ilikuwa inategemewa sana na mapresident wale kuweza kupiga kura kwa pamoja kuweza kuchagua ni nani atakayesimamia African Union Council kwa miaka ingine mitano. Lakini ukiangalia vizuri, kulikuwa na shida ambazo labda sisi wenyewe hatukuziweza kuziona kwa kina zaidi. Shida ya kwanza, kulikuwa na shida na maybe say within our government, because we all know that our president and the relationship between our president and other nations, let's say, for example, because if we talk of African, if we talk an African Union, we talk of an African a continent that is maybe has Arab nations. At the same time, this nation has this continent has also other African countries that were colonized by French, and the others at the south who are seem to be united together, and they have same voices when they come to speak and when they come to act on the issues relating to African Union, and this affected us a lot. Hii ilitu affect kwa njia moja ama nyingine. If you look, for example, if you go to the northern part of our continent, let's say the Arab nations, they are all united and speaking the same thing. They are speaking the same outcome, and you could see them because ukiangalia sana, kwa sababu number one, I want to talk about the Arab nations. Ukiangalia sana, there are issues that could lead us to lose, and they could not vote for our candidate. Number one, because our country, and when there was the fight between the Israelites and the Palestinians, if you look at at how our president and the government of Kenya responded concerning the issue, you will see that we had a very great problem between us and the Muslim countries, who knew that, you know, if we come to say that we sided with the Israelites, sisi tuko pande ya Israel na tuna support ile kitendo kinaendelea kule Hamas, ambapo watu wengi waliweza kupoteza maisha yao, and we supported it. We fully supported the Israel concerning the same issue happening in the Arab nations. And the Arabic nations in Africa, they are still trying to see why are we supporting that Israel could kill Muslims there in Palestine, and we come together, we come as a nation to support that particular that particular act. That costed us a lot because the Muslim nations, they all united and they are all saying they are against that particular act, which what happened in Palestine, what happened with the Israelites killing their people there. So if we went further to support that, then that means we have a problem with Arabic nations. Despite that, we could feel like, we have a relationship on because we are Africans, but they have to stand and they have to stand and make sure that everybody who supports those kind of acts and killings that are happening there in the Arab nations, they will not support that particular candidate. And that's the same reason why we lost in that particular area, because those Muslim nations they did not support our candidate because they knew very well they have their own candidates. And hata kama Raila Odinga alikuwa mzuri namna gani, hata kama alikuwa amefika viwango za kuweza kusimama na kusapotiwa vizuri na hizo nchi ambazo ziko na Waarabu, I think because what we saw is that Arab nations voted as a bloc. They all had to support a candidate that they are all satisfied with, and they had their own from Djibouti. Mahmoud alikuwa tu mzuri kwa sababu alikuwa anajulikana, yeye ni Mwarabu, yeye ni part of the Arab nations in Africa. But see the results, as we see how they voted, because they could not support our candidate, not because they had their own, but we had the best candidate. We had the best candidate. But ukiangalia vizuri, unaona ya kwamba they could not vote for us because we had a relationship with Israel who are executing killings in Palestine. Now they could not support it. So if we look at that issue very well, that affected us. Hiyo ilitu affect tena vibaya sana. And that is the reason why let us not have this tendency of lashing into things and talking too much. Hii kihelehele tuko nayo ambayo unafika unaanza kuongea maneno ambayo haujui kama ita affect nchi yako, haujui jinsi ambavyo wale watu ambao wana feel ile kitu inawa affect vile ambavyo wanasikia, alafu ukienda pale kuenda kuwaomba ati msaada wako, wale watu watakuangalia kwa macho mengine. They will see it in a different angle, in a different perspective, no matter what the reasons. Even if you have the best candidate, I assure you that you're going to lose. When they come to that part, when they come to vote, they will not vote for your candidate. They will not vote for your candidate. Why? Because they have issues affecting them, and the way you are addressing them, they are not in agreement with you, and that is why our candidate had to lose. If that is the reason why we did not get the votes from the northern part, that is the Muslim nations. If we have to count them, let's talk about Djibouti, let's talk about Egypt, Morocco, those countries, ambao wako pande ya northern, they are Muslim nations, they could not support us. Another issue, if we go to the second issue, that the reason why we lost at the AUC is there was a time when Ruto, was in wakati Ruto aliapishwa kama rais wa Kenya, that time when he went to the State House, he addressed those issues. He addressed the issues concerning Africa, and one issue he touched is about the nation ambayo inaitwa Sahrawi, and that nation had to cost us a lot. If we can remember, he said that he did not recognize that nation at all. Sahrawi, being a member of African Union Council, alikuwa na support that. And then Sahrawi had issues with Morocco itself. Morocco had an agreement with our president William Ruto that it will come to Kenya and establish an industry, a fertilizer industry here in Kenya. So that particular agreement, so that they held interest and they could not recognize other countries, and some other nation saw it in a bigger picture, and they saw somebody who could not even be trusted when it comes to issues of African Union, and that is the reason why number two we lost, because those nations that surround those areas, and the nations that recognizes Malawi as part of our African Union Council, they had issues with our president himself. They had issues with our president himself. So him going there to campaign for Raila Amolo Odinga, that could have been an issue that could let them not vote for our candidate, because they know and they understand that our president does not that are part of our African Union here in Africa. So that led us to a great loss, and we had the best candidate ever. So going to sell him out there was an issue again. If you talk about the ongoing crisis in Congo right now, the problem in Congo and how we are taking with ourselves, I would like to say frankly and openly that the nations were being colonized by the French, and today, because the French has a great say when it comes to controlling and trying to manage the issues and affairs of those particular nations. There is a great problem when it comes to accepting that our president, who went further to unite with the countries that are united to support the gangs in the Congo. Hawa wanasupport wale vikundi haramu ambazo ziko Congo, zina terrorize Congo. They are supporting them, and one nation is Rwanda is one of them, and Kenya is again another country that supports supports those particular groups in Congo. So that is also affecting our nation. Today, as we speak, we know that some soldiers died in Congo. South African soldiers died in Congo, and they died in Congo as a result of the same crisis happening there. And our president, collaborating with other nations and other presidents out there, they are supporting those gangs that want to overthrow the government, those gangs that have already taken some of the cities there, those gangs that are killing people there. So that picture that we see today, the South African nations, and especially the South African itself, could not support Kenya when it comes to controlling the affairs of African Union, seeing that our president is the one who supports those gangs that attack their soldiers there, and they are overthrowing the government there. Remembering that the South African nations has united together to come and support Congo, and stop those killings and try to manage. The peace of Congo today as we speak. But now you have united again to come and support the same gangs. See this picture that you're fighting against nations that are supporting Congo, and now yourself, you are supporting the gangs. See this picture that they will come together, they will discuss you. And when they met together, they knew we will not support Kenya, because our countries who are united together to go and support the Congo, in Congo mission, they are not together with Kenya. The Kenyans themselves, they are united with other presidents, few countries who are supporting the gangs. One of them is, let's talk about Rwanda, and again Uganda, where the M27, the M23, where they coming, they are all ganging up to go and attack their country. You see, hii kitu ndio number 3 ambayo iliweza kutuharibia vibaya sana. Iliweza kutuaffect kwa sababu Southern nations, hapa tukiongea kuhusu South African nations, hawakuweza kutusupport vizuri kwa sababu hawakuona kama sisi tuko na msimamo kamili ya kuweza kusaidia Afrika even overcoming this particular situation that is in Congo right now. So we say we lost, but we have not got into details to understand that even those nations had a particular say when it comes, even if you had the best candidate. Let's talk about uh, uh, William Ruto, who is campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga, and the relationship he has with other presidents and other nations in Africa. That will affect us. That will affect us directly, and that costs us a lot. We had even to use a lot of money. We had to do campaigns that are never seen before. Amount of money being used to go campaign for our candidate, but we still lost. Why? Because of the relationship and understanding the democratic issues of Africa. How did you handle? eh? How did you handle issues even before? Before you come to present your candidate, they will have to look at how did you handle the issues? How are you related with the issues that are affecting Africa? And you see, Raila Amolo Odinga being the best candidate, coming from Kenya with a big large number of delegates, following him, you know, and this man came with only 4 people, you know. This defines a lot that, they could not trust you at all because number one, they know, what you're after. You want to control Africa, and especially if you are the friends of the Western countries, today as we speak, that will affect you because the Western countries, they have a lot of say and they would like to control Africa at all. So if you are the friends and calling us and coming to address issues, saying that somebody else from other Western country has addressed issues concerning Africa, and then you come and table that as an issue to try to convince Africa to follow on what has been said from the West, that will cost us a lot, and that has affected our candidature in the African Union Council to lose until today. People have never gone to understand those reasons that I've mentioned before. Another reason that I want to talk about is remembering that Raila Amolo Odinga was supported by the government of Kenya, and this whole thing was fueled and supported financially by the government of Kenya, and also supported by the president himself, agreeing to ensure that even the whole process, the whole process should be done collectively to make sure that Raila Amolo Odinga wins the AUC seat. Ruto himself, the president of the Republic of Kenya, if we talk about him today, talk about uh, how his picture is out as there, being rated number 2 in corruption in the whole world. That will give you a reason, a good reason enough that when you take this person as your campaigner, you know, as somebody who will take you outside there to campaign for you to go and convince the whole delegation of the president from the whole that we have the best candidate. And see, for example, because we had issues before here to do with uh, our Gen Zs on the road, being killed, sprayed bullets, extrajudicial killings that we say happens, and abductions that have been happening all around. You know, this picture today, this picture is clear in Africa because it was all over. It was the news all over in Africa, in the whole world, that our president himself uh, supports extrajudicial killings. Himself is a corrupt leader. Himself, as we speak right now, as we try to campaign for Raila Amolo Odinga, he has united with Raila Amolo Odinga for political reasons. For political reasons, as we speak right now, they are together and they are trying to manage the political affairs of our country, even in our parliament today. So if we try to speak about those 2 people, and picture of Raila Amolo Odinga in the Kenyan politics as we speak, you know, collaborating with the current president, William Ruto today, they seem a very bad picture out there. Because you not tell me, because in 2022, you are in the ballot, the same, with the same government. You are in the ballot. Yes, you became number two. There were issues here and there, issues affecting Kenyans today. How do you address them? If you have united with the same government and there are issues affecting our country, and they would wonder why you are not solving issues in Kenya, you are not solving whatever is affecting your country, and then you want to solve issues concerning Africa. That will not happen. They won't agree with you. Some of these presidents are very literate and they know, they understand, they follow keenly, and they want to understand how are you running your affairs back in your country. Even before you come to just tell us that let us give us an opportunity that we could do something in Africa. How have you done it in Kenya? You see, a very calm nation like Djibouti, where you find that this is a very small country in Africa, and you know how their you know their picture is in Africa. They don't have a lot of cases concerning corruptions, concerning abductions, concerning areas of extrajudicial killings. They have never been mentioned anywhere in post-election violence. Look at them. Because most of the Kenyan people, you could hear them saying that we stand with the Djibouti, and they have their own candidate. And that could also be another factor where the other countries are still looking at Kenya. Why some of the people in Kenya, they are rejecting their own. And then as African, we can go and eh, accept an offer from the same president leading the same country. Why should we support somebody who has been rejected? You know, rejected 5 times. Let's say maybe because this is an election issues where you say maybe you don't have the majority and maybe you've been supported by the government to run for the same seat in Africa. But let us see it in a bigger picture because you have lost on some occasions, like say 5 times. Eh? 5 times you have lost the seat. Why should we support you as African leaders? Why should we support you? That could have been another determining factor. And I think like that because I see it as a political reasons why they wanted Raila Amolo Odinga to contest for the seat, win the seat, and leave Kenyan politics aside, so that William Ruto could have an easy time when it comes to 2027. That could also be another factor because these people are politicians. We know these elected leaders. They do campaigns and then they have their supporters. They understand the whole processes as it's done in Africa. So they know well. And anybody who associates themselves with politics, they have political reasons why they should even come to an extent of, you know, telling one of them go and vie for that particular seat, because it was very clear that Raila Amolo Odinga could have won the election in the African Union Council. That could have gave William Ruto a fair field in Kenya to do politics in his own way, without somebody who will oppose on, without a strong opposition leader here in Kenya, because we know Raila Amolo Odinga was a strong opposition leader here in our country. Since he came into politics, we have known him as a strong opposition leader. So this could have been another issue that Kenyans are not looking at it, and so how we fail in that particular position. Number, I also asked to address another issue concerning the same story of how much money has been spent there, because a lot of money, billions of money has been spent for the same campaign, and the picture was very clear. Why are you spending a lot of money campaigning for somebody? You know, and a country like Djibouti always did not even had a budget for the same. But as Kenyans, we went further, to spend a lot of money, and there was issues of, vote bribery, so saying that you can go there with a lot of money so that you can convince the president to vote for your candidate. Here in Kenya, we have been known for cases of corruption, and we have been named in areas of, you know, cases of corruption and spending money, uh, spending public funds, careless, without anybody who will come and question you, without a strong opposition who will come and question you. Right now, some of uh, some of the people has raised the issue of the amount of money that has been used in AUC, and I don't know why the government is angry on this matter when it comes to, uh, to issues of money. Tell us, be frank. Tell us, because you had a lot of trips out there. You had a lot of financial, spending a lot of money out there. So tell us, how much money did you spend? Stop threatening Kenyans. Stop being angry about those people who are questioning about our financial and about the finances and the money that you have used outside there. Stop being angry. Tell us, if member of parliament, Juja constituency, said it is 13 billion Kenya shillings that was spent outside there. Tell us. It is not 13 billion. He lied to us. Tell us how much. Because there are other areas we have had. It's not about 13 billion. It is even more than that. Tell us the exact amount. Don't be angry to Kenyans. Stop selling fear. Tell us exactly. We spend this amount of money, and so that the Kenyans can know that the member of Juja, member of parliament of Juja constituency, Koimbori, lied to us. He did not tell us the exact figures. So, as the government, tell us the exact figures that we can know. In this particular area, we spend this much. Eh? So we stop this kind of a scenario where even a minister now as interior minister in Kenya, eh, came and addressed the same issues, saying that these are just political issues. Somebody shouting. It's not about shouting. Tell us the amount. Tell us whatever amount you spend on this particular area. Yeah, and we are going to understand. Now you spend our money, and tell us who proposed that amount, and how the parliament went about it, because the parliament itself is supposed to allow funds, and to go and discuss those amounts. Because right now, if you spend our money out there, right now you are now trying to cook another thing of, you can change the constitution uh, to allocate a seat for a prime minister seat for somebody. Then you want to use our money again. Tunataka kutumia pesa zetu tena kutuambia ati sasa mnataka kutengeneza kitu kingine. Mmeshatumia zile, hamtaki kutuambia ni ngapi. Sasa mnataka tena mtumie zingine, mubadilishe constitution ndio mpate kitu ya mtu the same person. Stop those areas and those muachane na fitina, muachane na kukasirika. maana tulilose na hakuna kitu tutarudia. Hiyo kitu haiwezi rudi, imeshaenda, imeenda. Now we lost our money now because you want to arrange your political issues here in Kenya. Tell us, kwa sababu tulitumia 13 billion ama tulitumia bilioni 20. Now here because you want to use another money, do we think that as Kenyans we are going to allow you to go to that extent, or we are going to support the solution? Ati kwa sababu sasa tunataka kutengeneza vitu za individuals. As Kenyans who voted for you, the government of Kenya, wale ambao tulipiga kura na tukapigia nyinyi, tulihakikisha ya kwamba sisi ndio tutakuwa beneficiaries. Lakini sasa tunaona watu ambao hawakupigia hii serikali kura ndio wana benefit. How will Raila become the first beneficiary and yet Kenyans are still waiting? Our youth are still jobless. Akina mama mboga are still waiting to see the money that you told them you're going to give them to expand their businesses and other to open other businesses. They are still waiting, you know, and you're still spending billions elsewhere. Tell us, are we going to support this particular mission that you have? Eh? To endorse somebody to become a prime minister here in Kenya. Hiyo kitu haitahappen. I want to say this because I know where we are heading right now. And you are telling us ati wale ambao tunafurahia, wale ambao tunacheka kwa sababu Raila alilose kiti ya AUC. Msitubebe ujinga kitu kama hiyo. Maana hakuna zile utakuja kutuambia ati we are small minded, ni akili tuko nayo punguani. Number one, let's say wakati mlikuwa mnafukuza Gachagua kwa hakuna mtu nyinyi mlifurahi vizuri. Gachagua is a Kenyan, Gachagua is our own. He was the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Wakati mulipiga kura mukafurahia sana, muimpeach. So mnataka kutuambia sisi that we should not be happy where somebody else is losing. Yes, he lost. So why do we have to complain? Why do you want us to treat others as special candidates when it comes to issues of politics? Yeah? Na nyinyi ndio mlituonyesha hii maneno yote ina happen. Kenyan people are still angry about it. And I want to tell you that the other mukiendelea, the way you failed in AUC, the way you collaborated together and used our money and you failed, the same way you will collaborate. Mugawane viti huko parliament, muchukue viti za wale ambao wako kwa Kenya kwanza, wale ambao waliwapigia kura, muchukue viti zao mupeane. Mugawane vizuri. Lakini nataka niwaambie hivi. The way you collaborated and failed in AUC, the way you will fail in 2027. And that thing you can take it to the bank. Na hakuna kitu itabadilisha. Kenyans are very serious right now. Thank you very much.